Okay, hello everyone. I think I am live now. Let me just check on my thing first. Okay, it says I'm live. How do I go to my stream? I haven't done this in a while. Okay, there we go. Okay, yeah, I should be live. So hi everyone. Oh shit, I need to do this down. Wait. Okay, there we go. So yeah, hi everyone. If anyone's watching it or listening, welcome back to these turn-based streams. It's been a while. I guess we haven't had a TMTL season in about half a year now, right? When was the last one? Was last summer for me, like July, August. But yeah, it's been a while. Okay, anyways, welcome back to these turn-based streams. And okay, hey, super, I see you in the chat. Thank you. Good to know. I'm live and you can hear me. You can see my screen. Everything's good. Okay, good, good, good. Yeah. So we're back into these games, into these turn-based games, which is great. These are always fun. And so this is TMTL Turn-Based Division One. And this season we've got myself, we've got Kezalu, Halai, B-Ball Race, and then we have Felipe Bart in Div 1. So no Mellison this year, which is a bit different because usually Mellison's been like a staple of this, but he couldn't do it this season. And I was kind of wondering if Zor or someone else might do it, but he ended up not doing it. So we got the five of us, as always, strong competition. Audio's a bit weird, but works good enough. Okay, I mean, hopefully yeah, as long as you can hear me, I guess it's fine. I don't know what I would do about it. Other than just, yeah. I mean, okay, as long as you can hear me well enough, it's fine. Okay, this is going to be tough. I'm a little rusty. I haven't played a ton, and I definitely haven't played against top competition for a bit. I'm going to have to get into this. Okay, anyway, so we have a variety of games. There's 5 different games, and we've got 5 different maps, and we've got all different kinds of fan factions, Fire and Ice factions, endgame scoring. We got a lot of stuff in these games. So I'm going to try to remember to go over everything. And I need to remember to myself to check everything. So I need to look for landscapes. I need to look for extra endgame scoring. Like, it's so easy to forget that stuff. Anyways, let's get into it. So we've got this first game here is on Fire and Ice. Yes, super. I'm 7 hours over time. I was busy this weekend. I wanted to wait until the stream to do this. I didn't want to cash it in before the stream. But yeah, as you can see, this is fast auction. Everyone else is done and has been done for at least a day, and I've just been sitting here going over time and hoping no one kicks me. So yeah, it is a bit of a strategy though. It's a bit of makes everyone else nervous maybe. No, it's not a strategy. I'm just slow. Okay, but this is the one game I've looked at a little bit at least. The other ones are all kind of don't totally know what they're like. But this game we're on Fire and Ice map, and we've got Fire and Ice factions as well as fan factions with some restrictions. But regardless, like in this game, we have Black Ice Maidens, we have Architects, we got Nomads, and Orin. And looking at the setup, so there's no extra endgame scoring. There's also, well, obviously no landscapes, there's fan factions. And in terms of the track and bonus, we have kind of like a clunky late game track with the big building rounds 4 and 5 and temples round 6. But kind of a cool round 1 and 3 TP rounds are kind of interesting. Like they can lead to some fun strategies potentially. Like you can dwelling rush and hit round 3 TPs, or you can, I don't know, like if your Ice Maidens build up in round 3 and do a bunch of temples, and maybe your stronghold like in the TP round could be really nice. It leads to some fun kind of building up strategies. So I think it's like a nice kind of taller track. And also the cult rewards are really good for that, like lots of early spades and late workers, so really nice for a tall strategy. The bonuses don't really kind of go with that though. Like we have Dwelling VP in the game, we have Ship VP in the game. Both are more like favored or expansive strategies. Well, Dwelling VP in particular. We also lack 6 coins. So yeah, what are we missing? We're missing 6 coins. We're missing the big building tile, and we're missing Priest. That's what it is. So yeah, it's a bit of like a conflicting setup, I guess, in that way. Oh, hey, Fire Nice to see you here. Nice, you can be in the chat this time. You're not playing, so you don't have to to hide from the stream. So nice to see you here. And okay, so in terms of the factions, we got man, this is hard. I'm bad on Fire and Ice. Like it's my worst map, I think. So I'm having trouble figuring it out. But anyways, we got Black Ice Maidens in first seat. I think it's a really good. Like I put Ice Maidens in just because I like Ice Maidens, but like I think it's a really good track for Ice Maidens. Like this is a really nice taller track, as I said. All the early cult digs you can do a lot with, and the late workers can be really useful for Ice Maidens. The bonuses are okay. I kind of like the bigger econ bonuses for Ice Maidens. So like lacking 6 coins and lacking big building to me is a little bit sad. Those are just Ice Maidens can use those really well, I find. And then they don't love dwelling VP, obviously. The TP tile is okay, I guess. It depends. But the bigger thing to me is they have no colored neighbors, which is super nice. The question is space. Like, can they find two easy towns without needing their sanctuary? That's always a nice perk for Ice Maidens for me. And here, you have the center town for sure. Oh, let me put hexes on before I forget. I usually hate indexes, but it does help when talking about it, I'll admit. Okay, so Ice Maidens like will almost certainly start E3, and then they're in first seed, so they can be Orin to D6 no problem for their first action. They can spade D6. They can start Air 2, start with a power bonus, and take double dig. It's pretty standard, I think, for them, at least to me. And so then you have this nice town with D6 and C3, which is a really natural 3-hex town. And I guess you can bridge to D5 for the 4-hex, like it's probably not threatened from by these factions. So that's probably one 4-hex town. And I think your second dwelling, to me, I'm not totally sure, but I think H3 makes some sense, and you dig H4 first action. So then, like with double dig, so then nomads aren't threatening any of that territory. And you have G4, which should be yours for the taking, I think. I don't see Orin like rushing that. And you still have to find a 4th hex. You might have to bridge to I2 or double dig G2 or I4 if nomads aren't there. Like, that's fine. I think that could work pretty well, but I can also see some kind of like dicey scenarios for Ice Maidens here. Maybe not. Like, I thought maybe nomads could beat you to C3 potentially, but like, what are the odds nomads start in A4 and dig through to C3? That seems pretty unlikely. Um, okay. Yeah, and I like Ice Maidens being on first seed. Like, you get double dig and you get a lot of leech. Taking D6 here, you should get a lot of leech from green. Cutting through here, you should get leech, I think. The Cult Roars are super nice. Like, that looks really good to me. So I think Ice Maidens are the best faction here. And then the question is, after that, who's second best? And I would think Orin. Like, Orin of No Color Neighbor. Green is pretty good in this map. Orin can start with either a spade or a temp ship. I think both are pretty reasonable. Maybe they start with a spade and take a priest action immediately and do some kind of dwelling rush. That could be pretty good. I worry a bit for Orin about like getting the whole map. Like they're not witches; they can't just build their stronghold and fly to F3. They got to find a way to ship there if they're going to start double center. And I could see architects potentially starting E2 and bridging to F3 and eventually taking that. I think it could make some sense. They might not. It might be open, but that's a risk for Orin for sure. Orin also, like if they start double center, they might not get A5. If architects start B5 and bridge there and go there. And then Orin are in 4th seat, which is like good for bonuses, but bad for tempo and leech and stuff like that. So it's always a bit of like a negative, I think, and something I've started to consider a bit more. I feel like I used to not care about 4th seat that much, but now I value it a bit lower than I used to. And let's be real, they're just Orin. Like Orin or Orin. I don't know. They could probably be pretty good. I might be underestimating them here, but I feel like Ice Maidens are better for sure. Their Ice Maidens are just a better faction than Orin. Like, so if Ice Maidens can get what they want, like, they should do better than Orin. In terms of cults, like, both factions like the cults. Both are culty. They both can use these cult rewards really well. I think Ice Maidens would town in round 4. It would be their first town. Orin, I don't know. Orin could town along here, potentially. Or, like, bridge through here or something for an earlier town. So they might be able to get 2-key town. But, which is nice, but, like, I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think it's... Like, Ice Maidens can take maybe 2 8-point towns or something else to kind of get by with cults. Like, I don't think it's that big of a swing here. Yeah, so super. I'll get into architects now, because they're kind of, I think, one of the biggest question marks to me here, which is where do architects start? So we have architects and nomads as color neighbors, Immediately, I think this is kind of bad for architects because nomads, of course, have 3 dwellings and kind of just have map control over their color neighbors. But architects are good at expanding quickly. I haven't played them very much, but I know that they can expand really quickly and kind of like sneakily, I feel like. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, in terms of starting spots, like looking at Fire and Ice, where do architects start? Like my thought is E2 for sure. It's just so central, like with black here, you have the neighbor. You go to G5 and orange's gonna be on G6. Like that seems like a really natural town spot, and you can go through H5, which isn't really threatened. And you also, as again, you can bridge to F3 and go G3, G2 potentially, like if nomads don't start there. And then you get F2. Like that feels like a good area for architects to me. So I would think they start with a dwelling on E2, or heck, maybe G5 and go up to E2. I don't know why they would do that, but like, regardless, like one or the other, they have a dwelling on. And then where does their second dwelling go? It's not totally clear to me. I think maybe one option would be B5 and then bridging to A5, and then you have B4 and A4, and that's a town there. I guess you have a neighbor on A5 and B5. It's okay, but you're kind of stuck up there. Like you can't really get anywhere from there. Like nomads are going to be on B5 or B6 and C5 for sure. And so I don't know. You can kind of maybe dig through D4 and play this part of the map, but then nomads are going to be somewhere, so they're going to be in your way a bit, I think. And then maybe another good option is starting on G7. Like, I would love to start on H9 as architects and then bridge to G8 because you can use the bridge spade much better that way and get a free spade out of it. But the problem is then nomads can start in H7 and just take G7 from you if they want, and so it just makes that really risky. Then that's not nearly as good. It like cuts your connection and stuff like that. So I think you might just go G7 and bite the bullet and have to dig G8, and then you can bridge to F6 and you have a nice town here, and then you can bridge to H9 after. So that makes a lot of sense to me. They have one town here, and maybe they find a third town somewhere along here. I don't quite know. But again, I think that kind of strategy gives incentive for architects to beat Orin to F3, and so that's kind of why I'm a little scared of Orin. And of course, F3 is only one spade for architects after the bridge, so it's not a huge cost. But I think if I were architects, I would do that. Like, to me, that seems like their best option. And so if architects do that, then what do nomads do? Like, nomads start on C5 for sure. That's one dwelling. And where do their other 2 dwellings go? Like, I'm tempted to say H7, but then if architects are on G7 and taking G8, like, nomads connection on H7 is pretty dicey. Well, I guess E6 is going to stay open. Like, so nomads would be on H7, they would sandstorm H8, and then with 3 ship, they go to E6, and they're already on C5 and D8, so I guess they connect that way. Orin are never taking E6. Architects aren't taking E6 unless the block. And maybe Ice Maiden start E7 or something. I guess that's possible. But I think that could work. And then if not, I mean, maybe nomads can find a way to connect to the other side of the map. It's not clear. I guess if they're at H7, they would go to I6, cut through I5, I4, maybe I3. And if they have a third dwelling here on G2, then they have D4 and like B5, C5. Maybe they can find a way to connect regardless. It's a little bit weird though, because it depends on where architects place, and architects place their second dwelling after nomads. Then of course nomads have their third dwelling, but like I don't know if that influences the decision or not. Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't really matter. The nice thing about nomads though is like you have D7. Like there's just no way on earth the architects are starting D7. Like it makes no sense for them. They're gonna get surrounded. And so nomads have a nice D7, D8, C5 sanctuary town here, which is always kind of a pretty thing. They're also starting with either a spade or a temp ship, like whatever Orin don't want. I assume nomads want the other one of that, and I think either of those is a pretty good starting bonus for nomads, especially if they're on C5 and H7. Temp ship immediately gets them 2 dwellings down. The spade, of course, is great for digging D7. Like I think there's lots of good options for nomads in terms of their start here. The downside to nomads to me is the scoring track, like especially the later rounds. That's just not it's a low scoring track. Nomads want higher scoring events. There's also no big building tile in, so there's no really. I guess you can do a later stronghold for cutting through and stuff like that. Yeah, I guess nomads can get by with shipping and doing maybe round three TPs, like doing other good stuff. So I think probably could still be pretty good here. Huh. Starting to wonder now, like, are nomads better than Orin? I would have thought no, but like Orin or Orin, they're not like for Orin. What if architects are G7 and take G8? Then you either do a sanctuary town here or you bridge here. And I mean, you might want a sanctuary town here. Again, you might lose F3. Like I feel like there's a lot of scarier things for Orin, whereas nomads are a bit more resilient. Though I may be missing how architects can mess with nomads. I'm not sure. And maybe is it possible that architects don't start E2? Like I assume they start E2. It just feels so natural. But if they don't, I think they can get in nomad's way a lot more. Like if they're G7 and B5 or something like that. That seems weird to me. I don't think they would do that. But huh. All right. Well, let's start bidding here. Let's kind of figure out some evaluations. I think nomads are likely to win network here, assuming they can connect. I think. Will Ice Beans get any network points? Don't know. Don't know how big Architect's network is going to be with nomads in the game. Like it feels awkward. Don't Can Architects get a lot of dwelling? Like what does Architect start here? Let me look at that a little more. So assuming Orn and nomads take Tempship and Spade, and Architects get worker power. Like they have to go worker power, I'm sure. And if they're on E2 and G7, I feel like do Architects try to dig G8 and get a bridge or something like that? They can get a lot of dwellings by round two for sure. Round one might be a little bit slow. They get a lot of leech. I mean, I feel like Ice Beans get the most leech here, which is really nice. Yeah, I don't know. It's not clear to me how Architects start. And then also Architects and Nomads probably aren't doing great on cults with Ice Beans and Aura in the game. Yeah, I don't know. My gut feeling is that Architects are the 40 faction here, like the worst faction. It's kind of what I thought the whole time. I do think Ice Beans are the best, and I think I'm willing to bid on them pretty heavily because I like their inherent scoring here. Like they're gonna get, assuming they get two clean towns, like they're gonna have a really good game, and they should have no problem getting like a second Tumble for Water one round three, and Stronghold, and something like 27 pass points by round four, 24 to 27 pass points. The only downside to Ice Beans, again, I said the bonuses, like not having as much economy in the bonuses is a bit sad. But they do have a lot of cult digs. Like they could go water two and get a spade here, spade here, spade here, and carve a lot of territory out that way. I think they have potential to score quite a bit more than everyone else here. So let's do Ice Mains at like I don't even know if they're 20 points better than Architects, but I could just have them at 20, just to kind of give me a good chance to play them. Is audio weird? Say, hey Jan, I see you there. So Super said that too. Maybe I can try. I do have this kind of crappy headset. I can try using that. Like maybe that'll make it better. Is it just like fuzzy? Like what's the? Is it just bad sound quality? Hear me? Make sure I'm connected here. I should be connected. Yeah, someone let me know in the chat if you can hear me, if this is any better. Anyways, I'll get through the auctioning here. Let's have nomads at like 8 points better. Something like that. Is that reasonable? Uh, Slightly, but might be hard to fix. Okay. Yeah, I don't really know why that would be. Maybe it's my internet. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll just move forward and hopefully it's reasonable enough.
Okay. So the nice thing is there are three scoring bonuses. Like for nomads, that's good. They can hit good bonus points here. As well as I guess Orin kind of like that. Architects, I really don't know if they like that or not. I know Dwelling VP is good for them. Like they like that for sure. Maybe the TP tile as well. Ice Maidens, yeah. Again, a little sad not having big building tile in, but Dwelling VP is good. I'm kind of tempted just to do this, like these evaluations here. I know the thing is, I know Halai is in the game, and Halai is going to bid a lot on Ice Maidens, I think. I know he's an Ice Faction guy. I don't know what Keslu and B-Ball race, like what they'll prioritize here. Yeah, this seems like reasonable enough to me, I guess. Ooh, actually, I just thought about, can Architects get two key town? Like if Architects are G7 and they dig G8 and get some kind of bridge town with F6, F7, H9 or something, maybe they can actually get two key town. Maybe they can get a lot of these cult rewards. But I guess the workers are good late game. The spades don't really do much for them. Um, Maybe I'll have everyone a little bit higher. I don't know how to evaluate architects. I don't know how good they are. Uh, I'm probably a little bit low in Orin. Let's have the nomads at 10 here, like Orin at 6, sure. Ice Maiden's 22. All right, reasonable enough. Maybe this is too much for Ice Maidens. I don't know. Let's just do it. Let's see what we get. Oh, wow, okay. All right. So we're nomads at 40, and we've got Orin at 40, Architects at 40, and Ice Maidens at 28. Oh, jeez. Okay. I didn't expect that. I, huh. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Fast auction is crazy. Okay, what did everyone else put? Let's see. Let me scroll down here. So there clearly we had differing opinions in the 40 factions, clearly, right? Um, I think so. Keslu thought Orin are as good or better than Nomads. B-Ball Ray thought Architects are as good or better than Nomads and Orin. Um, Nomads and 40, yeah, it feels reasonable, bulky buzzard, as long as I can connect. And then I think I need to hit bonuses hard here, these three scoring bonuses, and I would love to hit round three TPs hard because the late track isn't great. I also really want scoring favors, but I don't think Ice Maiden's. I don't think they would want Earth One and Water One. And knowing Halai, like I don't think he would prioritize Earth One as Ice Maidens. Orin, I don't think can take both. I don't know about Architect, so I feel like I can get scoring favors here as Nomads. The question will be, so cults will be tough as Nomads, but you presumably win Network. Though I guess Orin, if they get everything they want, can do pretty well at Network. But I feel like Orin on Nomads will have a good start. Um, yeah, let me see what everyone else put here. I'm really curious. So three of us had Architects as the 40 faction. B-Ball Race had them 6 points better than Orin. With Orin, so Keslu and Orin 15 points lower than Architects. Wow. Uh, B-Ball Race and Orin 40. So I had Orin at 34. Halai had them at 36. I've been Ice Maidens down to 2. I thought he might do something like that. He just loves bidding the factions he loves, right? So like I thought he might bid Ice Maidens really low. I should have had them lower just to give him a worse deal, and then that would have been nice. Oh man. Okay, wow. So Keslu had Ice Maidens down at 22, kind of similar to me. B-Ball Race had Ice Maidens at 36, and he had Orin at 40, he had Architects at 34, and he had Nomads at 38. Wow, he had them almost even. Jeez. Why do you think Ice Maidens were so like we're not that good here? I'm curious. Like I feel like Ice Maidens, you start with Air 2 and you take power and you have double dig and you have cult spades and you're pretty set. Like you have territory. You just can score so much in your strongholds. Like I feel like they're always like poised to have a good game here. Like even this 12-point gap from Ice Maidens to Nomads, I'm still a bit nervous it's not enough. Like they can do a lot. Like if Ice Maidens get a good start, like just watch out. They're a dangerous faction. Okay, yeah, I'm surprised by that. And then so Nomads, so Halai had them 39, I had them down at 30. Everyone else had them pretty bad, huh? I guess I'm guessing everyone was like scared off by the bad late game track. I feel like with a good enough economy and scoring favors, like nomads can get by. Like I might be able to, like if I have a really good economy, I'll look for a fourth town or look for dig advances late and try to like score points that way. So I feel like or nomads are a bit better than they're giving them credit for, but I also again Fire Knight's my worst map, and I maybe there's a risk of them getting cut off. Like I know yellow and Fire Ice is kind of weird, but like I think they're getting a good start, which helps a lot. Okay, well that's cool. I think nomads look great here for the TP game. You can call it tall even. Wait, like Jen, like playing a taller nomads game? Is that wait? I don't know if that's what you mean or not. I don't know if that would work. I don't think I've seen tall nomads. That would be kind of wild. It'd be cool. Yeah, Fire actually paid it more for Ice Mage just for the fun factor. I thought I was like I thought I had them low enough for the fun factor, but maybe I didn't quite have them low enough. Because I agree. I think Ice Maidens look the most fun to me here. I remember last time or the last time I had like Fire and Ice map with Ice Maidens, like I was against Matt the Lesser, and both of us valued them really highly, but he had them a bit higher than me, and he crushed with Ice Maidens and he won. I really regretted not bidding them down more, and so I wonder if we'll see the same thing here. Hopefully not. I do feel like as Nomads, I've got to be able to hit this round three TP round, right? Like it can't be that difficult to do. I'm gonna have D7 and D8. I think I'm gonna have neighbors here to put TPs on. I feel like I feel like I'll have the neighbors and the worker income for it. Like I think that's gonna be really nice. And that's gonna be my game plan, I think. It's gonna be centered around doing something in this TP round to kind of push myself for the rest of the game, get some points and get things going before things slow down points wise around 4 and 5. And then playing the bonuses, like seeing what bonuses are available and trying to hit those scoring bonuses when I can. Gonna be another big thing. Um, oh yeah, I did see that 4 TP Air 1 game. Was that I don't know if he ended up playing tall. I forget how the game ended. But yeah, that game was nuts. Like it was in round two. I think Nomads had 4 TPs in Air 1. Maybe that'll be me in round three here, like having 4 TPs in Air 1. Or Water 1 and 4 TPs round three. Like that would be unreal if I could do that. We'll see. We'll see how the economy goes. Lacking the 6 coin bonus, lacking the big building tile. There's not quite as much economy in this game as there are in some games. I'm not going to use the cult rewards well here as nomads at all. Maybe get around two spade. Like that's about it. Maybe a couple workers round four if I'm lucky. So I don't know. We'll see, I guess. But that'd be pretty cool. Okay, he didn't end tall, but he could have done whatever at some point. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I think one of the decisions for me is going to be Stronghold. If I want to, like, if I do a bunch of TPs round three, I'll have to decide if I want to go Stronghold with that into round four, or if I want to go Sanctuary for Air One and try to go more shipping if I'm on ship VP. Do I go for just 3 towns? Do I try to plan for a fourth town, or maybe just 2 towns? Like, I kind of doubt it. I feel like I want a third town, but maybe 2 towns is could work fine if I do enough on bonuses and like advanced dig or something. Like I think it's pretty clear for me I have a sanctuary town in the center here, like C5, D7, D8. And so I think some point round 4 or 5 I'm gonna want a sanctuary for that. Probably have a second town at H7, I6, I5, I4 here, maybe I3. And then a third town either up here somewhere or down here somewhere, like depending where architects are. Or I guess up here if I have Ice Mains as a neighbor, right? I don't. It might be hard to do 4 towns and connect. That's the thing. So it might have to be a 3 town game. We'll see. We'll figure it out as we go. I don't know, but like I don't see myself doing an early stronghold this game, like with no big building tile in and these later big building rounds. Like it seems like that's too low scoring for me. So I don't think I'm going to sandstorm G8 or anything like that. To like if I did that, I could have town, 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 like 4 towns planned like that. But I don't think it's going to happen. Not to mention architects probably beat me to G8 anyways. So yeah. All right, lots to think about here. Lots to see what happens. He always has lots of options as nomads. No danger of architects on D7? I don't think so, like Jan, because architects, first of all, on D7, I think you're getting surrounded. Like I think Ice Mains are on E3 and taking D6. Orin, I think are going double center. I think Orin are C4, E4. And then as nomads, I'm C5, and I'm certainly beating architects to D8 here. And that's not really a good town for architects. So I don't see a good reason for them to go D7. It also limits their bridge spots. Like architects really like their ability is that they can use it like get a free spade over a bridge basically. And so I think they want two dwellings where they can bridge from or have easy bridge spots around there to utilize that ability. And D7 is nothing for that without C5. So I don't think so. Maybe Orin. It's possible that Orin could beat me to D7. Like I could start in C5, and if Orin start with a spade round one and then double dig D7 round two before I can get there, like that's a possibility. If that happens, I just bridge to B5, and that's fine. I can do a town that way, so not the end of the world. But I think if I can get D7, like it's a lot of leech for me, and it's such a nice sanctuary town that that would be a good position for nomads. All right, let's move to the next game. I'm taking too long here. I need to get moving. We got three more fast auctions to go through, so I can't mess around too much. If this ever loads, jeez. Okay. Oh gosh. All right. So this is my game. This is the second game here. This is my home game. We've got a mess here. So we've got revised base, everyone's favorite map. We've got extra endgame scoring, and so here we have. Let's put the tooltips on so I can see what it is. I think it's distance scoring. Let's double check. Yeah, we have distance scoring here. Greatest distance between connected structures on the map. Um, we have no landscapes, but we have fire and ice factions in. And so we've got fakirs, witches, shapeshifters on brown, and yetis on gray. So we have kind of the 2-and-2 matchup where we have two colors on one side of the wheel and two colors on the other side of the wheel. And so no sandwich, but it's always like an interesting dynamic to see what happens. And yeah, a lot to kind of dive into here as well. Let's look at the scoring track first. So the first thing you'll see here is round six towns, which is always fun. Leads to a late game explosion of points, something that witches, for example, always like. They can do a lot of late towns. Shapeshifters, I think, like that too. Like shapeshifters can be flexible towning and kind of wait until late to shift to the colors they need to and secure their town space. And Yetis, I think, Yetis like round six towns. They also like an earlier town, but they can do an earlier town and still hit like two round six towns as well. So it's good for them. It's bad for fakirs. Like fakirs want a town early, then fly after that a lot of the time, and so round six towning is not ideal for them. Let me turn tooltips off now. It's actually really annoying. It gets in the way. Yeah, so that's definitely a plus for these three factions and a minus for fakirs. But we do have these round four and five dwelling grounds, which I think I like a lot for fakirs. You can get your range extended before that, and then round four and five kind of explode and fly across the map and score a lot of points that way. And I think Yetis also like it. Like it's kind of weird, but maybe it looks weird on the surface. But I kind of see Yetis as like a more of an up than out faction. Like you start by building like your stronghold is really good, so you build up the stronghold. You often want a temple for heir two and maybe a sanctuary. So you get kind of like you build up and you get a lot of income from the cult rewards. Like you get a lot of workers here from the cults, and then you use that to advance dig and dig a lot of dwellings out rounds four and five. And so I think that's a really nice combo for Yetis. These early big building rounds into dwellings into towns. Yeah, otherwise round four and five dwellings, like they're just high scoring events in general, and so any economic faction kind of likes them. So it's kind of good for everyone, but I feel like it's really natural for Yetis and Fakirs in particular here. And then going back down the track to the earlier rounds, big buildings round one and three. So that just favors factions that like their big buildings. So yeah, I think it's really good for Yetis. Like you maybe you do your stronghold round one, sanctuary round three, like or you do both round three, something like that. Shapeshifters, I think it's pretty cool for because you can do stronghold round three and shift, or you can open stronghold and do some shifting stuff. And then witches, I think you go stronghold here at some point, right? Like you just kind of like witches stronghold is good. I think on revised base it's better than standard base because of this hex switch of like B5 and C4. It makes shipping for green not quite as good. Oh, and also C5 and D7. Yeah, so green doesn't have an easy one ship, one dig, like five hexes or whatever the heck it normally is on base map. And so I think that makes Stronghold a bit better for witches than normal. And so I think it's really natural for witches to actually probably open Stronghold here. Fakir is it's not normally great for. I guess you can go Sanctuary round three for a town. I have it in my mind to go Stronghold round three and get your range extended and get all the dwellings out rounds four and five. Like to me, that's a really cool Fakir's combo here in this track. But the Stronghold is so stupidly expensive. Like it's so hard to afford that round three. So I don't know. It's maybe not great for Fakirs. But anyways, regardless, it's like it's an interesting track. Like, there's a lot to think about with the track. With the bonuses, we're missing Ship VP, we're missing Coin Cult Step, and we're missing Dwelling VP. So Dwelling VP gone is really sad, I think, for Fakirs. Also sad for Shapeshifters and Witches in particular. Ship VP gone is, I think, sad for Shapeshifters in particular. I think it's a really good bonus setup for Yetis. Like I like the big building and TP tiles in for Yetis. Worker power, having a spade in the early game can be really useful for Yetis, and they're in fourth seats that can start in the spade. Like I think it's a really good combo for bonuses for them. But yeah, only two scoring bonuses like the big thing to look at, and I think for shapeshifters in particular, that's a bit sad. Like they're such an economic faction, and they're almost like mini alchemists, and so they really want scoring opportunities on the bonuses. They definitely can hit these bonuses hard, but they may get hogged by other factions. Like it's not. It's a bit it makes the game a bit like riskier for them. They may lack scoring here. But then that being said, there's also distance scoring, which throws everything for a loop. Uh, who's doing well on distance? Like Fakirs, they can get to they can get to B1 no problem. Like they'll have that hex. They can also get to I think they can get to G4 and F7. Like they have shapeshifters as the color neighbor. Like they have brown in the game, but I mean shapeshifters are going to shift, right? They're not going to want to be digging yellow hexes. It doesn't do a whole lot for them to dig G4. Like they would rather shift to I don't know blue and go along here. I don't know exactly what. But like I think Fakir's long-term territory is pretty secure, so I think Fakirs will do quite well on distance. They also might be able to actually get from H1 to what is that, B6? So if they can do that, they basically win distance, and I think that's really nice for Fakirs. B1 H8, yeah, I think that's also another possibility. Is B1 H8, maybe A1 H8, like something like that. And so whatever direction they go, I think Fakirs do well on distance scoring, which is probably something like F2 to A11, right? Like, I think witches are E7. Oh, it's weird with gray in the game. Like witches probably get G3, but what if Yeti start on temp ship and just take G3 immediately? Like I don't know if that makes sense for them, but then oh, I guess witches have I6. They can still fly down here as three shipping. Okay. Um oh, but then they don't have E9. They can take D5 and C3. They can probably take C4 or D6 if they need to. They can probably find a way to connect. Okay, but then they would have like F2 and F1, and that's okay distance wise in that direction. Alternatively, if they get to A3 and they can get down to I11 maybe, then that could work. They can get to I12 even and like A2 potentially. Like they could do really well in distance there. But it kind of depends what Yetis do. Again, if Yetis immediately take temp ship and take G3, which seems kind of crazy, but like Yetis are gray against green here. They do want to connect, right? Oh man. Um, that looks a bit dicey. I don't know. Let me look at the chat quickly. Yeah, tariffs in that stronghold, honestly. I wish the Fakir stronghold cost 6 coins. It'd be so much better. It'd be so much more reasonable and like not overpowered or anything. It'd be so much more fun to play. Um, the green-gray rivalry looks better for green than on base and worse for gray. I could see that, yeah, because on revised base, like gray, I think really wants this 2-for-1 from E9 to D7. And like while Yetis, it's not really a 2-for-1 for Yetis, it's still good single dig territory, which Yetis want. And like with witches on E9, Yetis can be an F6, but then they have to double dig G6. That's a lot worse. And they're kind of cut off down here. Yetis, I mean, and Gray, I think Gray still needs to start F4, like for the central leech and stuff. Like especially Yetis, they need that leech. But then where do you go? Like you have G2, I guess you have I6. Like if you don't prioritize G3, like you have I6, but witches can stronghold fly there, and then you're just pretty screwed as Yetis. Like that looks super tough. Oh man. I mean, because Yetis, again, like they're not shipping, so they're not starting H6 and shipping to I9. That doesn't work for them. They have to dig everything. So there's nothing like really funky you can do that like something like engineers might do instead. Yeah, the more I look at this, the more it looks kind of rough for Yetis. Because even if Yetis are F4 and F6 and go on temp ship, like they get G3, sure, but they don't have E9, like witches win that, or witches start there. And so Yetis have to dig through here to connect, and then Yetis probably don't do much on distance. Ooh. So maybe Yetis go culty here. Maybe that's what happens, is that Yetis don't do a lot in endgame scoring, because there's also like there's shapeshifters and witches in her who are gonna do well on network. Um, Even if witches lose territory to Yetis, I think witches do pretty well on network, and shapeshifters are going to do very well on network for sure. So Yetis probably don't do well on network. I don't feel like they do great on distance. Like I think Fakirs are better than them on distance. I think witches are better than Yetis on distance. Shapeshifters, I'm sure, can do well on distance. Like they can find a way. They're so flexible with their stronghold. So it seems very hard for Yetis to do well in these endgame scores. But in contrast, like there's no culty faction here, and so I think Yetis can use the cults very well. They could maybe open stronghold and priest bomb to cults as an option. They couldn't do that with taking double dig, or it's more awkward. They're also in fourth seat, so they're getting less leech. Okay. The more I look at it, the more I think Yeti's the 40 faction here. Like this all seems very difficult for Yetis. There's no ship scoring in, so there's the two scoring bonuses. There's no dwelling BP, no ship BP. Yetis, I think can do. I think Yeti's game plan to me would be to go culty and to try to hit the big building tile well, to try to like monopolize the big building tile and really hog it from the other factions. And I think that's the way they can equalize a lot of these points. If they can get in the big building tile and have both their big buildings up round three and hit it again somewhere else in the game, score like 16 points from that, score 20 plus cult points and a lot of track points. Like this again, this is a great track for them. They can do a lot of track points with a good economy here. Maybe that could be okay. But the territory issue is dicey. Like that's a big problem. I don't see that. I don't see how they work around that very well. Yeah, let's talk about shapeshifters more. Um, so for shapeshifters, what color do they shift to? That's a good question, right? So they're starting on brown. They're almost certainly starting E6 and F5, right? Like I just don't see why they would start anywhere else. They're gonna get a good bonus, and so let's just assume Yetis take the best overall bonus, which is Spade. If Spade is available, I think you just take Spade as shapeshifters. If it's not, do you take Big Building and Open Stronghold as shapeshifters and shift immediately, or do you maybe you go Worker Power and do like Temple for maybe Earth one or maybe Fire one, and then Stronghold round three to shift? Like that might be more reasonable because I don't see a really good round one shift, right? Like Brown already has this really good two for one here from F5, G5, H7. Like I think you just want to take advantage of that. Probably try to get single dig with Worker Power and cut through here. Um, Otherwise, yeah, what are they shifting to? Like they can't shift the green or yellow, so it would be one of the other colors. So they have black, blue, red, or gray. I can see shifting to red once you have F3. Though Yetis are going to have G2, and so that'd just be D4. You could shift to gray, so you could go E6, then once you have F3 and G5 and H7, then you shift to gray and you take G1 and H6. That could be reasonable, and you get to H I9. Um, but you also want to shift the red for D6 probably, because I think D6 is super nice just for securing connection, which actually might get a bit dicey if you're really slow on shipping as shapeshifters. Like you have witches and yetis taking over a lot of this territory. Fakir is probably starting E5, E8. So like there actually aren't as many hexes as it looks like there are to connect as them. So maybe you want to shift to red and try to get this territory. But again, yetis, like what if yetis start D7 and dig these hexes? That's a little bit dicey. Yeah, I think the shapeshifter stronghold can be really good early. I think. Like I actually, it's grown on me a little bit. I think it can work out, but I think on average you'd rather go temple. Like especially with a round three big building event here. Like this is such a natural time for them to go stronghold that you don't need to force it up round one. But I think it can work well round one. Like if you have a good shift, like a shift that gives you a lot of hexes, I just don't see it here. Like I don't see any color you can shift to starting from brown. That's a whole lot for you without shipping, and so you're not getting both of those. Unless you start in temp shift, but that's then I don't know. It's not necessary. It just I think worker power or big building are just better tiles. Okay, so yeah, my plan for shapeshifters is to just do brown faction stuff in the first couple of rounds and shift in round three. I think. But yeah, there's a bit of a risk I think involved in terms of getting cut off. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that you're connecting. Which if shapeshifters get cut off, they're done. Like I don't think they could win this getting cut off. I think they need to do well in distance and they need to win network. Only two scoring bonuses again. It can be an issue at least. It's a really good track, like really high scoring track, but I feel like they need to connect. So yeah, it's a bit more risk than I realized, I guess, with shapeshifters. A5, D5 into blue, or E5. Yeah, Fakirs are definitely E5, so you're not getting that hex. It's also, I guess, the center town isn't guaranteed for shapeshifters. Like, again, with Yetis probably winning the race to G2, I guess you probably get D4. I don't see Fakirs digging D4, like, it doesn't do a whole lot for them. Maybe Witches dig it if they want a Sanctuary Town here, but I don't know. I don't think that's happening. Um, yeah, Witches have got to be E7, E9, right? So I think they start E7, E9, open Stronghold, fly to B5 or fly to G3 if they can. Oh yeah, they're on E9. So I forgot they're on E9. They're connected with D5, and so okay, yeah, they're all witches are always getting D5 to C3. They're always E7, E9. Like that's three ship connection, and then even if they lose G3, they still could get to A3, A2 this territory. Like even D1 maybe. And I think so. Yeah, I think witches always have three towns. Like they have a center town. They clearly have a town up here. One of these towns is going to take a double dig, but that's okay. They can get by with that, I think. Third town, I mean, they either like if Yetis are F6, then witches have they have a town up here, but it's a lot of digging, I guess. If Yetis are D7, then witches have a town through here somewhere. The towns are a bit more awkward on revised base, huh? I'm starting to see that. Like they're not these two towns are great, but like they need more digging, I think, than on standard base map. But there is a spade in the game. There's no air spades. They're not getting a cultic that way. They're probably not getting this water spade. But I think witches with stronghold can find a way to get three towns. Like they just have a good enough economy that they can manage that. And so I think witches are quite good here. Clearly, witches are better than yetis. Like I think that's in my mind, that's no question. Like I think they're substantially better than yetis. Let's just put it down to 14 for now. Yetis can score a lot. I just score a lot and go culty, but the space is just what concerns me. Yeah, being in fourth seat, not getting as much leech. Uh, Gosh, pass auction is hard. Fakirs, I think, are great for distance, but they're still Fakirs with no landscape. Like they're not a good faction. They have Brown in the game who are going to shift, but there's round six towns. Like is Stronghold round three and the two towns round six? Like that's a great way to hit the track as Fakirs. It's not very good economically, and like I've done it before. I've done it in a game before, and it's worked really well. Actually, that was round four Stronghold, but I've done something similar that's worked well, but it's still a lot. You are in first seat. Um, Let me look at bonuses quickly, actually. So I think Yetis, yeah, again, it's not impossible that Yetis take temp ship and fight for territory hard. But let's just assume Yetis take spade just for simplicity's sake. Shapeshifters go big building or worker power. Oh, witches will take temp ship if it's sitting there. So Fakirs will get, yeah, okay. Then, oh, there's a lot of good bonuses. So Fakirs will get a good starting bonus of some sort. Like the worst bonus they would get is probably worker power, and it's still very solid for Fakirs. So Fakirs can get a good start. They also could go double temple here, maybe. Like they're definitely starting E5, E8. Hmm. Yeah, that's pretty good. Is it better than Yetis? I don't know. Okay, let me sit in it a bit. So now that we know what happens to witches, it's easier to plan what Yetis will do. Maybe. So witches are E7, E9. Yetis are F4 for sure. It's just the second Yeti's dwelling. I don't see them going D7. Like that just doesn't look very good to me. It means they have to take C5, bridge to D6, and that's a sanctuary town, and then that's a stronghold town with a bridge. I don't know. It does connect them. Maybe they can do well in distance with that. Maybe I'm underestimating that. F6 is so much better for leech though. Like Yetis just love their leech. But if Yetis are on F6, they have to double dig G6. Then they have good single dig territory, but they're probably not connecting. Like, I don't see them connecting here without starting temp ship at least. Uh, this is where extra endgame scoring is so tough. Like, without this, I think it wouldn't be nearly as bad for Yetis, and I think the Yetis game plan of hitting the track hard and going culty would be really strong, but this, like, just changes the dynamics of things so much. And it definitely improves Fakir's game, who should do very well on distance here. How are witches doing on distance again? Like they're doing decently. I don't know if they're beating Fakirs on distance. And again, shapeshifters, it depends if they connect. I mean, I guess C4 will probably be open for them. Like they can probably get C4. Witches might want it for their town here though, eventually. And if they lose C4 and if they can't get D6, then connection is scary. Like then I guess they have H5 and I8, but Fakirs can. Oh, I guess Fakirs can't get to I7 easily, huh? Yeah, it's different than base map. Okay, because on base map, Fakirs on F3 can get to I7 fairly fast. But here, actually, they can't really do that. There's no like I7. They need to dig something to get to I7, and I don't see them prioritizing digging G2. Like I don't think it's worth it. Yetis will probably beat them to G2, and so they would need Stronghold and a range town, and that's just not happening. Okay, okay. So shapeshifters should get I7 then. So they should always have a connection path down here if they need it. Okay, that makes things a little better for them, I think. Fakir's second starting dwelling, it's got to be E8. Uh, I guess they could go G4 to secure that territory. I was assuming E8. Like usually on revised base, Fakirs are E5, E8 because they just fly here. E5 they're always on one of these three hexes, and E5 here is clearly the one to be on. And then E8 it's so central. It's some leech. It gives them access to everywhere. It is really scary. Like if Fakirs lose G4, that hurts because they need G4 not just for like F7, but for distance purposes too. Like to get either down to H8 to get up to B6. Like it's pretty hard without G4. So you could start in G4, and then is there any risk to losing E8 here? Like I don't think Yetis are going to take E8, which is no. Shapeshifters have been the only ones that could take E8. They can't shift to it though. They have to dig it. So they have to be on two ship and dig it. Like it's not impossible, but it's a little bit scarier. Maybe Fakirs would go. Maybe your risk is Fakirs go G4. I'm not totally sure what the best play is. It doesn't make a huge difference in the grand scheme of things, I think, though. Oh man, I gotta figure out evaluations. This is hard. Witches are the safest faction here. I think that's pretty clear to me. Like no matter how things go, witches are connecting. They can open stronghold here and score well with round six towns. Like they can do well in endgame scoring, even if they get second on network and like second on distance, or what if they get third on distance? That's not the distance. That's not so good. Yeah, I don't know. They're really good, but they do. Hmm. This is a tough one. Oh gosh, like all the options are hard, but this one feels really hard. So shapeshifters, I mean, shapeshifters are E6. They're getting a lot of leech on E6. Like that seems just really good. They have F3. I think Yetis. Do Yetis go double dig or do Yetis start on Spade and just go Stronghold and bomb Priest to cults? Like that could change things. Like if shapeshifters can open double dig and get like Temple four dwellings or something like that into both big buildings round three and then shifting and doing a lot of kind of good stuff, that could be really nice for them. What if they get Spade starved round one? Like maybe witches would take single dig and try to open Stronghold four dwellings or something like that. Yetis go double dig and shapeshifters don't get a Spade. Like that's a bit sadder. Like maybe you go big building and just hard dig G5 and it's not the end of the world. But I think the nice thing with shapeshifters is having like gray and green in the game. So you're just always everywhere you build an upgrade at the start of the game, you're going to be getting your ability. Like you don't have to worry about building away from people so much. So I think and now that I see that they're connecting very likely through the south if they need to, I think they're pretty safe here. The downside is two scoring bonuses, like missing other scoring bonuses. Maybe Fakirs beat them on distance again. Like I don't know. Let's have them uh something like there. Fakirs, I think one of the biggest issues for Fakirs I haven't mentioned is just towning in general. Like Fakirs don't have a center town here with shapeshifters on E6. They have a town in the west here, but they have no neighbors, so it's a lot uglier than normal. Like maybe they get witches here eventually or yetis here eventually, but like I think it's a bit scarier. They have a north town, but shapeshifters can beat them to some of these hexes. Like it's not impossible shapeshifters just stay on brown and take B3 and A5, A7 if Fakirs are slow there. And so I could see games where Fakirs like struggle to form a town even. Like if Fakirs want to do well on distance and secure territory, then towning is more difficult. And I don't see an early town option for them here. I almost feel like the round three stronghold is the way to go, but it's such an ugly game path. Yeah. There's also no dwelling VP bonus in, which they like. And they have this really nice early expansion. Like they're in first seed, which is good, with a good starting bonus. They do well on distance, but they don't do well on network, probably. They don't do well on cults. Huh. Yeah, I don't know how they are. No Fakir Town from F7. Maybe you have to get that later in the game. Maybe you fly there and then do a late town there. I guess it's possible. It's also not impossible that Yetis take F7. Like, if somehow Shapeshifters shift and beat them to G6, like, I don't. Maybe Shapeshifters shift to blue. Seems a little weird. Like, it's probably not happening, but I can see a world at least where Yetis have to kind of start F6 and go through here for some weird town. It's probably not happening. But yeah, that's like a natural town spot for Fakirs. I guess it'll be later in the game. If they go Stronghold round three, it's really hard to afford these towns. Like that's really awkward. And if they don't go Stronghold round three, I don't see how they get to F7 without towning somewhere here. And I guess they can force up a Sanctuary town somewhere, but it's oh man, it's awkward. Okay, I'm starting to think Fakirs might be the 40 faction here, even with distance in the game. I don't know. I don't love it for them. These dwelling rounds are good though. The path of Stronghold round three into dwellings round four and five is a lot of points, a lot of raw points, and then distance. But I'm a little scared for Fakirs actually. Okay, well um, we can have witches and shapeshifters maybe a bit lower. Are witches definitely better than shapeshifters? Like that's not super clear to me. Like green just looks so good in this map with these like 2-for-1 hexes. Not as big of a deal if you open Stronghold as witches, but you also don't have to open Stronghold. Like if you get Tempship as witches, you could just take Tempship and open Temple and get G3. And even if you don't take Tempship, I guess you don't have to open Stronghold, but it's really good. Like it's just feels very natural for them, especially if they get the big building tile here. I don't know, like that looks good to me. Uh, oh, man. Okay, I need to move on. I can't spend too long on these. And I guess I can also adjust this one. Like no one else has put their bids in here, so I can adjust this one later. I might have to a bit. This is a complicated one for sure. I think I'm gonna start with having Yetis better than Fakirs, but I am definitely worried about that. I don't have a great plan for Yetis, so maybe I shouldn't. Fakirs do have a more straightforward plan, even if I don't know how good it is. Um, does anyone else town early for Tukey Town? One more thing to look at. Like for Yetis, if I again, I think Yetis are going cultier here. Can anyone else give them a run for money on their money on cults? Like maybe witches with this great digging territory can do a round three sanctuary for a Tukey Town. They might want to do that. The cult rewards aren't very good later in the game though, so I don't know, but maybe shapeshifters maybe like shapeshifters. Actually, there's double fire and water cults, and shapeshifters start with a step on fire and water. So they actually can use those rewards better than most factions, I think. Maybe they go water too or something crazy, but maybe shapeshifters, if they're at F5 and have G5 and H7, this could be a sanctuary town for them. And once and they can also shift in round three. They could do like sanctuary stronghold and shift or something. Although I think shapeshifters upgrade in the center, so maybe that's a sanctuary town. But their center town is so awkward. Huh, okay, I don't know, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. There's so many like pros and cons to every faction here. Like shapeshifters only two scoring bonuses. Yeti's like connection and endgame is dicey. Fakir is just economy issues with if they go stronghold. If they don't go stronghold, it's a really awkward path. Again, witches are the safest, but like how are they doing it? They're probably not being shapeshifters in network. Well, maybe not. Like and then distance as well. It's not clear how well they're doing. Yeah, maybe I'll have witches a bit and shapeshifters a bit lower. Um, Shapeshifters shift to blue and then get more blues from F3 to H7. Yeah, blue feels like a natural color for shapeshifters to shift. Uh, that would be good for Fakirs. Like if shapeshifters shift to blue and come to F4, then Fakirs have a nice town here. Like that's so much better for Fakirs. Oh, that's kind of swingy in that way too, huh? But they don't have to shift to blue. Like shapeshifters can shift to gray as well and take C2 and G1 and like H6 I9. Like again, like they can shift to Yeti's home color. Like it's not ice factions are kind of it's kind of nice being shapeshifters with ice factions in the game. You have more flexibility that way. And so that while they can shift to blue, like they also they can shift to gray, they can shift to red. Um, if Yetis don't take G2 round one, I could see shapeshifters maybe shifting to red and oh they need F3 first, right? But yeah, if this territory is open, shapeshifters could want D6 and maybe C5 and A12 for distance and try to go distance along this line here. Maybe they get F1 and maybe they beat Fakirs to H1. It's not impossible if they're on red. Oh, then they should. Oh, they yeah, shifting to blue makes a lot of sense. You're right, huh? Because shapeshifters shift to blue and they have H2. They dig through I2 and I1, and then they connect down to the south here and they go up this way somehow. I don't know how they go up that way though. There's so many options with shapeshifters. It's so hard to say what's going to happen. Ay, ay, ay. It makes them a fun faction, but also so hard to predict. Dude, if I get strong, if I get witches for 40, I'll be laughing. That's not happening. These players are too good. Like, there's witches are just too safe here. There's no way we got witches for 40. Maybe I'll have witches a bit lower. Let's just stick with this for now. I really don't know. I think I might go back and look at this again later, if it doesn't pop here. I I have no clue if this is reasonable or not. Like I felt better about the auction in the first game. Like this one, I really don't know. It's so hard to tell. Oh gosh, yeah, we got to move on. I can't spend too long in these games. Like you can just go on and on with talking about turn-based games and like thinking about turn-based games, like which is so much fun. But I gotta move forward here. Let's go to the next game. Okay, so we're on lakes here. Again, we have extra end game scoring, so let's look at it. Um, we have it looks like edge scoring or what they call outposts. Yeah, so it's a number of structures that are connected that are built on border spaces on edge spaces of the map. Um, yeah, we have that in the game. Oops, not that. No, no, no. We're on lakes, so everyone's other favorite map aside from revised base. We've got lakes here. We've got landscapes in, and this is just base factions. And so in the game, we've got Orin, Cultists, Chaos Magicians, and Darklings. And so yeah, we're on lakes again, which is another really swingy map. Talking about swings in the last matchup, like lakes, there's always a lot of swings here. We've got two of the best factions in lakes. We've got Cultists and Darklings in the game. They are color neighbors, but they're also both like really good on lakes. Cultists just because Brown is so freaking good on lakes. Like there's just Brown is so central, and there's so many good town spots for Brown. Darklings because they can dig so flexibly, and lakes digging flexibility is super nice. And we also have Orin and Chaos. Um, I really like Chaos on lakes personally, but it's a bit weird with Orin in the game. Maybe. I don't know. We'll talk about it a bit more. But anyways, Orin on lakes are not good. Green factions on lakes struggle in general. Just kind of looking at green territory, like there's some good digging spots for towns, like in the south here from G3, H5, H4, I3. And then in the east, like we have this E7, F8, G7 spot. But the problem is they're not central. Like in lakes, a lot of the action often happens in this area here. And so green is like not good for getting leech in that area, which like is a big deal for a faction like Orin who don't have great economy. Another problem is like with this E7 to F8 town at least, like Darklings might go F7 and beat you to F8 unless you really rush that. Like that's always a risk. Yeah, and green just tends to build more in the periphery in general. Like if you look at green hexes, there's a lot of like not just green but also gray and blue, like where you're gonna go. There's a lot of options on the outside of the map. And yeah, this D6 hex is central, but there's no easy town here. C2 to B3 looks nice, but it's kind of far away from everything. Like you got to ship and then dig F3, and here Chaos Magicians likely beat you to F3, and so like if you start on C2, you're probably not connecting. Not to mention like you have to bridge to B3 for this town, and you need neighbors, and I guess you have a neighbor with Chaos on A3 probably, but like I don't know. It's just not even though Ornn have no color neighbor here, it's just not great for them in general. Um, yeah, and then Chaos Magicians, I like them a lot. Like I think red is a really underrated color on lakes. You have this really good central hex in C3.
You have E5, which is super central and gives you shipping options into lots of other parts of the map. Like especially with no yellow in the game, you have a lot of flexibility. But problems are that like the center town is a little bit scary. Like, you want like ideally the dream for Chaos is to have a sanctuary town on C3, C4, and D4. Cultists might start D5 and want to take D4 though. Cultists probably will start D5. That's very common for them, and they might want D4 and like to have expansion into the west here, maybe their own town on E3 if Darklings aren't here. And so if that happens, like you probably still get C4 and C2, and so yeah, you double dig that. It's a sanctuary town, and that's still fine actually. I don't think Orin start double center, so I think you get one of these two hexes at least. Like even if Orin started C2, you probably have D6, but then you have to double dig it. I don't know. I think Chaos can probably find a center town, which is good. But it is. I guess the one thing I am worried about, like, is if Orin start D6 and dig C4. I just don't think it's very good for Orin. Like they do get a lot of leech doing that, but then like, where do they town? Like, I guess they bridge to E5 and double dig that. That's super expensive. That's gonna put them behind. I don't see that happening. Also good to keep in mind there are landscapes, so even if something crazy happens, like Chaos could stronghold in landscape somewhere for expansion territory. Like not that you want to, but like as Orin, like if you tried to do some crazy town here with a bridge on E5, like Chaos could Chaos portal there. So it just I don't see Orin actually doing that. Like I think it's unlikely. So okay, I guess Chaos probably have some kind of center town here, and that's pretty good then. They have no color neighbors. If they have a center town, they I think they get E5. Like I don't see anyone else really wanting E5. From C4, they have two ship to A8, and then from E5, they have shipping everywhere else. Like, okay, that's pretty good for Chaos. Okay, I like that. Oh yeah, let's look at the track and bonuses quickly. And so for the track, we've got I think a reasonably high scoring track. We have good cult rewards. Like that's what I'm seeing here immediately is these mid to late game like coins and workers on the cult. Like that's a lot of cult economy that a culty faction could use well. And so immediately cultists have got to love that, right? Like round three earth coins, round four coins, round five workers. Like I'm sure cultists can do well in that. Chaos magicians can do well with cults in that too. Darklings maybe if they get a couple priests to cults, but they might want to dig instead. Orin will like that in cults too, but I think like everyone kind of likes that on cults here. So I don't know if it's probably a bit better for cultists than anyone else, and for chaos magicians like having this late worker round. Maybe not a huge difference at least in the cults. The scoring track, what do we have? We have dwellings, teepees, spades, temple, big building, teepee. Very, very varied scoring track. Like a lot of different events in kind of a random order here. Also no doubled cult rewards, so not quite as good for cultists as it might be. Anyways, with this track, it doesn't like jump out at me as being particularly good for one faction. Darklings like round three digs for sure. They could definitely make good use of that, like really comfortably. Someone else would probably get like dig actions and stuff like that there, but Darklings is just so natural. They produce priests by that point, so they're gonna want to dig anyways by then, so they'll do that. That's nice for them. Otherwise, the track is just like generally a pretty decent scoring track. I don't think it's really favors one faction over others in particular. Dwelling round one always makes me look at dwelling rushing, but I don't know who's dwelling rushing here. Like Chaos, obviously not. Darklings, no. You're gonna want to upgrade. I mean, I guess you could dwelling rush as Darklings, but could you even dwelling rush? I don't know. It seems weird. Cultists, no. I think cultists want to upgrade here. I don't think they dwelling rush. Orin maybe, but it's not so easy to dwelling rush as green on lakes. Like maybe with oh, there's no temp ship. Never mind. Okay, yeah, there's no dwelling rushing happening here. So nothing crazy in that because this would be a nice dwelling rush track with dwellings round one into TPs round two, but like I don't see that happening. Okay, let's look at bonuses last. So we got Spade, we've got, or what do we don't have? Let's go with that. We don't have Big Building, we don't have Worker Power, and we don't have Temp Ship, right? So we're missing three really good starting bonuses. There's only two like generically good starting bonuses, which are the Spade and the Priest here, and so that's kind of good, I guess, for Darklings and Chaos. One gets one gets the other. I'm pretty sure Darklings would take Spade and Chaos take Priest. Like that seems very natural to me. Like unless Darklings are planning on sending both priests to cults or advancing ship, like there's no reason for them to want a priest over a spade. The 2 coins are always better than 2 points in round one. So I think Darklings always take Spade. And yeah, Chaos are happy with a Priest. They could take Power and try to get Double Dig. Maybe not crazy, actually. Maybe Chaos would do that. Like the Priest, huh. Usually the Priest is really good to open with, but like here, the Priest is good later in the game for sure. Like it'll pay off later, but like the early game cult rewards, like unless Chaos are going Water 2, it's not that good of a Priest. And Water 2 looks nice. Like that extra Priest is really good with these later cult rewards, but like I don't know if it's worth it. So taking power is kind of sad, but if that gives them double dig and lets them open Temple 2 dwellings, like that's really good for them. Especially if they can double dig D4 and C4, if that lets them get the Sanctuary Town here, like that feels super nice to me. So that's a possibility, I guess. Let's just assume that Chaos pick Priest. It's the most natural. Then what do Cultists do? Do Cultists take power and try to get double dig? I like early double dig, so especially on lakes, I think the territory is super nice to get early. Like it's just lakes is so cutthroat for territory. I think it makes a lot of sense. So I could definitely see Cultists taking power if Chaos don't, and that leaves Orin with like a coin bonus, which is yeah, not great. Um, yeah, okay. So I think the bonuses are bad for Orin, the starting bonuses at least. Looking throughout like the rest of the game, so the biggest thing is not having the big building tile in. What else are we missing again? Temp ship is important early game, but late game doesn't matter so much. Worker power is not that important of a bonus. Like for these factions, I don't think it matters so much. So yeah, the big building tile is the main swing, like not having that in the game. I think that's sad for Chaos Magicians for sure. They like that for the workers, and for the Sanctuary early, but the workers really help them with they have less worker production than everyone else. I think Darklings like the big building tile too, but they're flexible. It's not that important for them. Cultists, fine, not having it in. Orin, I think also like it for helping them get their stronghold up early, but it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, so okay, I don't think I think just the starting bonuses are sad for Orin and everything else is okay. But the thing we haven't talked about is distance, or is edge scoring. Again, that freaking complicates everything. Okay. So, edge scoring, huh? I said on lakes that everyone likes being in the center here. Like it's just with all the leeches, and then you kind of expand from there. With edge scoring, does that change the equation? Like, do other factions want to start on the edge? So intuitively, I would think edge scoring is best for Darklings. Darklings are a digging faction. They have a lot of digging flexibility. I don't see why. Like they probably want to be on B4 anyway, so they don't mind digging a bunch of these hexes in the north here. They could do like an ugly splat town with B4, A5, A6, A7, A4. Like even if cultists are on B5, like that's fine. Um, and then Darklings could also be. Is there any way Darklings start like B4, B2 just to play edge scoring super hard? Or is that crazy? That's probably a little bit crazy. Darklings could also be like H3, I2, I1. Like they can get edge there. Ooh. Darklings could go F7, and as long as they beat Orin to F8, they have. Well, that's only one edge hex. It's only E8. Huh. Oh man, why? This really complicates things. Yeah. I put Chaos Magicians in the auction, and I thought they'd be pretty good in edge scoring. Like, if you look at the map, there's quite a few red hexes on the edge. Like, you have A3 and A8, which they should get. Um, Chaos probably, if you want to get to the west here and get like G1 and maybe F1 H1, like those are some good edge hexes. I mean, this part looks really nice in the edge, but I don't see Chaos getting here with Darklings and Orin in the game. And with Cultists in the game, like someone else is gonna want to prioritize this territory. Maybe Cultists would go B8 and go for this territory, like if Darklings don't start around here. So yeah, I don't think Chaos are getting this territory, but I think they're getting edge hexes around here. Cultists, um, I mean, this stuff is nice for Cultists, but do they get it? The problem is if cultists try to start here, like then connection is really dicey. Like then if they start, let's say they go crazy and start on E8, um, they're not getting F8. They can get D8, but then do they beat Chaos at D7? Maybe. But even if they get D7, like how do they connect to? I guess they'd be on B5. Maybe that'd be okay. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. But I think cultists can get some edge scoring. Like if Darklings aren't on B4, then Cultists have a nice town here, which is good edge scoring. If Darklings aren't down here, then Cultists can get this territory, which is good. Cultists can maybe get C1. Like it's not clear how edge will play out to me. Orin have I3, I4, maybe A9. If they can get G7, H9, those are good edge hexes. It's a few edge. Everyone has like a few natural edge hexes. I don't know if anyone's going to play for edge super hard, but everyone can do some stuff on edge. So it's kind of hard to say how edge scoring is going to go here. So maybe I shouldn't use it as too much of an auction evaluation. Like maybe I should try to play for it in game, but not base the auction off it too much. Yeah, okay. So we have 3 scoring bonuses. To me, it's pretty clear Aura are the worst faction here. They have no color neighbor, but I still think they're the worst faction. I think Chaos Cultists and Darklings are all pretty good. One more thing I haven't talked about is so I talked about Cultists and Darklings are color neighbors. Chaos and Orin have no neighbors. Darklings are in 4th seat. And so again, like there's kind of the 4th seat thing where you're just a bit slower on tempo, you get less leech, stuff like that. And then again here, cultists get to place their second dwellings after Darklings. And so that's always I remember that being a bit annoying for black versus brown on this map. Like brown has a lot of control over black because of that. And so like, oh, Darklings have so much flexibility with their dwellings, but if Darklings try to do something wild, like, I don't know, if they start on D8, I guess cultists aren't going to start on E8, then that makes no sense for them at all. Maybe Darklings can start on D8 safely. And then they get C8, B9, B8, A10. If they're on D8, is their second dwelling on C5? Like they would. I think Darkling's ideal game here would be to go D8 and B4, and then have a town here, and get a lot of edge scoring that way. But then if Darklings are on D8 and B4, like cultists just go B5, and then Darklings are shut down entirely. Like cultists, if they get double dig round one, will have A7. Like they can probably beat Darklings to C5, and then Darklings don't connect, and all of a sudden they're edge scoring, they don't do well on edge because they don't connect. Like then that gets really dicey, and so like that kind of plan doesn't work nearly as well when you have brown like earlier in seed order as black on this map. So what are some safer options for Darklings? Like D8 looks so nice, but I guess like if you knew you were getting F8, then you can dig through here. But like but Orin aren't gonna have power to start probably, right? So they actually won't be able to dig F8 without hard digging. Ooh, okay. So maybe Darklings do get F8 then. Oh, that if Darklings get F8, that's really nice for Darklings. Like I think that's but then what if cultists are on F6? Ay, ay, ay. Ugh. Okay, but if Darklings are getting like the more I look at it, the uglier it looks for Orin. Like if Darklings get F8, then what the heck do Orin do if they're not getting this town? Like they have a town here, which is one edge hex. Like great. They probably have maybe they start G3 and D6 and try to ship their way to B6, and I guess they could have A9, A10 and have a couple edge hexes there for a second town. It just looks ugly though. I don't like it. So I could just have everyone else like way lower than Orin, just to say like I don't want to play Orin. Um, that could be a part of the plan. Oh yeah, good point. We have landscapes in. Uh, yeah, sorry, Krishner or Kreiner. Like, what's your BGA name? I don't know if I. Oh, you're. No, yeah, I can't remember who you are, but I recognize the name here at least. But yeah, that's a good point with landscapes in as well. The Orin landscape is nice, but then like, are they? How are they doing on cults versus cultists and chaos? Like, we've got two other really culty factions in. I guess Orin go down from G3 and like maybe they town first and get Tuki town, like maybe. But Chaos maybe get that too. If the Chaos have a Sanctuary town in the center here, they could definitely get Tuki town before Orin. It's not super clear. Because Orin I don't think are getting a lot of round one digs. I would think other factions. I think Cultists and Chaos. Like if Cultists take power for double dig, then Chaos gets single dig. If Chaos take power for double dig, then Cultists get single dig. And I guess maybe Cultists don't want single dig. That's possible. But I just feel like it's so even with that the landscape. I don't know how many points they're actually scoring from that. So it's a bit scary still. I think the landscape's also good for Cultists. Like it's so easy for them to build it. Yeah, it's not a great landscape, but it's just that like there's no prerequisite for it, so it's like an extra structure for Cultists. Whereas Chaos and Darklings need their stronghold, which like maybe they want in round 5 or 6, but like it's not super clear for them. They want to build it like with no big building tile in the game too, and so that's good for cultists. And it's also just like an all around great map for cultists. They can always find ways to do well on lakes. I just don't know if cultists are better than No Color Neighbor Chaos. That's not clear to me. Or better than Darklings, like with edge scoring in. I just so if Darklings start if Darklings start F7, do cultists start E8 then? Because then cultists could maybe justify going E8, but then they would have to be on B5, which is fine. I get maybe cultists
Put their first one on B5, and that immediately like dissuades Darklings from going B4. And so then if cultists put their first one on B5, and then Darklings go like F7 and I don't know what other hex they go on. I don't know. But then, like, if Colts can get B5 and E8 and get edge scoring here and edge scoring here, like, that looks really nice for them. Oh, maybe Darkness just go B4, E3. Like, maybe if Colts are on B5, Darkness go B4, E3. Then Darkness go for edge up here, and then they go for edge kind of here, and then edge down here. That's fine. Maybe Darkness just do that. Huh. So then Orin would get this town, which is definitely better for them. Okay. Last thing, I think we haven't really talked too much about Leech here. Chaos get a lot of Leech on C3. Like, there's going to be brown and black, and someone's going to be in the center for them. I think pretty certain that someone's going to be in the center with Chaos. So they should get a lot of Leech here. They have such essential territory. Like, I like it for Chaos. Can I just have like everyone like 20 points better than Orin? Or what if I have everyone 30 points better than Orin? Even if it's not right, like can I just do that? Or like again like that? Just basically say that Orin are terrible here and that everyone else is good. Um that feels so weird. Um is there any pressure? Okay, and maybe a couple other things to look at. Like I don't think there's pressure on the workers' power action. I think Darklings can get that comfortably. Like unless Chaos try to open Sanctuary, but I don't see it here. Oh, maybe if they go priest, they open Sanctuary. Maybe it's possible. Um, but if Darklings don't get workers, they could just take a priest and maybe they would do some kind of weird Dwelling Rush here. Maybe that's okay for them. Um, yeah, I don't know exactly. I guess cultists are the safest, right? Even if Chaos take power for double dig, like cultists get a priest, which is a super good opening for them. Then they go priest to water and get a priest back once they get another cult set from upgrading. It's probably really good for cultists. I'm sure they can find a way to do well. Like if they start on B5 here and then let Darklings dictate where their second dwelling goes, that looks pretty good. Like if Darklings go B4, E3, then cultists are like just B5, D5 and ship out to the east here and get some of this territory. Although maybe Chaos beat them there? Huh. Yeah, okay. Scoring track. Well, there's always so many things to look at with extra endgame scoring, but the scoring track, I guess it's not a super good scoring track for Chaos. It's a bit sad. There's no dwelling round mid game to hit. Like the spade round is good for coins, but for scoring isn't so good. They have TP round late they can do well on. Round 5 big buildings is alright. Not amazing. Like Darkling's inherent scoring does look like it could come in handy here a bit. Um, huh. Um, okay, I do need to move on again. Let's not kill myself too much here. Maybe I'll just stick with this and then move forward. Again, maybe I'll revisit it if I have the opportunity. This might be a lot. Maybe Orin are a bit better than this. I just don't see it for Orin. Like I don't see how they play this very well. I don't know. It looks ugly to me for Orin. Let's just do this. Let's go to our last game. Okay, so our last game is the simplest. it's also the ugliest. So last game is base factions, base map, no endgame scoring, no landscapes, just vanilla settings. And we also have a massive sandwich. Kezelu put in Giants in fourth seed here and immediately created a mess of a setup here where we have sandwich Giants and sandwich Nomads, and we also have Dwarves and Halflings. Which okay, I like that. I like messy colored matchups, and I honestly want to make more messes in these games here, but I had to pick the first faction in 3 of the 4 games for some reason, and so I couldn't really do that. But luckily Kezelu had my back here, and so he put in Giants to create an ugly matchup. What do we have here? So we have the track. We have these mid-game dwelling grounds, which is interesting. Um, Good early cult rewards for Earth cult lovers. So I put in dwarves because dwarves are gonna love that. Nomads and halflings, maybe I'll use that as well. Giants don't really care about that. And then late game is low scoring. So big building in the temple round 6, like not a whole lot there for factions to score off of. So the key I think is going to be to hit these mid-game dwelling grounds really hard. Because the early track isn't great for scoring either. Like it's not a super high scoring track. Actually, it's quite a low scoring track, I think, because a lot of factions like to have dwellings up before this, anyways. Um, so yeah, I generally quite a low scoring track. For the bonuses, it's a low coin bonus game, so we've got no spade, no dwelling VP, and no coin cult step. We do have the coins and the cult reward here, but as far as the low coin game, like of these factions, I think dwarves are probably the most comfortable with that. Halflings don't mind as much because they can advance dig for so cheap, like it saves them 8 coins. That's really nice. Nomads, I don't know what they think about it. I don't think they love it. And Giants probably don't love it either, but they do produce a lot of power and get coins actions and stuff, so maybe that's okay. Um, yeah, okay, so this color matchup, huh? I mean, let's just, without even thinking, let's just put, I mean, halflings have got to be like better than these other factions. Same with dwarves. Like, let's just have them both at 13 before even thinking about anything else. So nomads are sandwiched without blue in the game. Like I find nomads are always just a lot worse without blue in the game, without this neighbor in the west. Because here, I halflings and dwarves like the east, giants like being in central to center to the east usually. Like I don't think giants are starting on E3, and if they are, it's not good for nomads. And so like that immediately looks awkward for nomads. Not just being sandwiched, but not having blue in the game to help them out. So nomads could start like F3, E8, G4, something like that. Um, Maybe that works. It's not a great setup for going like an early stronghold because with an early stronghold, like you get a lot of dwellings out early, like before these events, like very naturally at least. I guess you could do stronghold round 1, like temple round 2. And I normally wouldn't care about nomad stronghold so much, but like in such a messy color matchup, it has more value. Like you can cut other people off and you can secure your own territory more easily, and so maybe there's incentive for that. The big building tile is in, but the problem is that Giants are very likely to start in the big building tile, I think, here. Giants could start temp ship as well, but I feel like big building's better for them. And so, like, when Giants do that, then you have even less incentive as Nomads to go Stronghold, like, especially when there's a priest sitting here for you with these doubled Earth rewards. Like, taking a priest and putting it to Earth feels so natural here for Nomads. Yeah, which is good in itself, but then, like, the rest of the game, how do they do stuff? I don't know. I mean, they're nomads. They have 3 starting dwellings. They have flexibility. They can probably find space, but I just don't know how good it is with such a low scoring track. There are 3 scoring bonuses in. Like, there's no dwelling VP, but they probably can hit ship VP, like, even in a low coin game. The Priest of Earth will help. It's 3 coins round 2, and, like, maybe they can hit the 6 coin bonus at some point. So that maybe helps things some. But yeah, I don't know. I don't love it for them, just at first glance at least. Sandwich Giants. Like, I think Giants can survive in the sandwich better than most factions, and I guess here the question is like if they're going to lose their reds. Um, I don't think. I mean, dwarves aren't taking their northern reds. Like, Giants will beat dwarves to D6, and D7. I mean, Giants usually start D4, D7, and shift to D6. Like, I tend to, as Giants, I tend to like going double center against nomads, like going D4 and G2. I find that, or against yellow in general, I find it can work pretty well. But like, it's a bit scary with nomads potentially going E8 and then you could lose like D6, but then Giants can also just stomp through D5 and get to D6 pretty quickly, and so That's not the end of the world. And even if they lose d6, like Giants can stomp c4 and still get out here. But then they might lose d7 to Dwarves, and it's a bit slower. I guess it maybe justifies Giants opening temp ship, but I don't know. Giants could also just go d4, d7, and just stay in the north. But I kind of like g2. But the problem with g2 is connection, right? Because Giants can go d4, and they probably do want to stomp d5, like no matter what, no matter where they start. But connection is a bit dicey. You have e4 to connect, so like halflings are on e6 and are probably going to take e5. Well, maybe not. Maybe e5 is an option, but maybe it's not. And so like you might have e4, but like if nomads have stronghold at some point, they could sandstorm e4, or halflings could have take e5 and double dig e4, and so you can get cut off there pretty easily. And then through the east here, like with nomads on e8, dwarves want g3 for connection, and then once you look at that, that looks pretty dicey. Like giants on g2 could maybe go h4, h5, but halflings could beat you to h5, and so you could get cut off pretty easily. I guess it's not the end of the world, but if Giants aren't doing on points on network, like what are they doing here? Like they're not doing well in cults. They can try to do a points greedy game with these bonuses, but the track sucks for that. Like I don't know. I feel like end game scoring is important here. So yeah, this is a bit scary. Yeah, so bulky buzzard, one can take priest and still start stronghold. I guess so. Then nomads have to take a workers action. I always feel like that like temple synergizes better with the priest opening. Like I feel like ideally if you're going priest, you want to go temple. Like maybe you go temple earth 2 and take another priest and get 2 spades from the cults and then 8 coins round 2. Like that seems a lot better to me than opening stronghold, like forcing it up. Typically, but in this color matchup, like maybe stronghold is necessary just to secure your territory, secure your town space and your connection. So yeah, you're right, and I don't know if these other players will think differently. Like maybe these other players would open priest and be fine with opening stronghold. Or I guess alternatively, you open worker power and open stronghold as nomads. Like it's possible too. I feel like it'd be very hard to pass up on that priest if it's sitting there. But yeah, no, it's definitely like I wouldn't want to take priest and open stronghold, but other players might do that. So that would definitely affect the auction evaluations. Okay, yeah. So I don't love it for giants or nomads for sure. Halflings are just like so flexible that like in ugly color matchup, they're probably still pretty good. They're brown with no black in the game, so they have this 2-for-1 here on g5, which is always super nice. They might run into the issue of being brown with yellow in the game with nomads. Like if nomads are on g4, which I think nomads might go f3, e8, g4. I can see that happening. And then halflings definitely want to open with double dig, but they have that awkward scenario where if they're on f5 and e6, they double dig e5 and g5, but they have to leave one of those hexes open for an action, and so like that's always super scary to do. Um, yeah, that makes things a bit awkward, but it's not the end of the world. You can just single dig as halflings instead, like just single dig g5 and just prioritize that space. You're getting a good starting bonus as halflings, so like I feel like worst case scenario, you start with the big building tile, like somehow if priest and worker power are gone, but almost certainly giants or nomads would take big building, I think, over worker power. So I think as halflings, if you're on worker power, you're really happy. And you probably wait, can you connect? It's a bit spicy to try to connect with giants and nomads in the game. Like they can just take over the center of the map very, very easily. If nomads aren't on G4, then you have a good connection path to south here, I guess. But with nomads on F3, you're probably not connecting as halflings, huh? Unless you go double east. Ooh. What if you go double east as halflings? F5, F7, and you can double dig really comfortably. That does look fun. It's not even that good for nomads. Like nomads got E6, but with giants, well, if giants are double center, it's not that good for nomads. If giants aren't, then you have E6 and G2, even a sanctuary town here as nomads. I mean, if giants will be on D4 for sure, so you're never getting that. I kind of like double East for halflings. This seems like a setup where it might make sense, just to really get economy going early. It's weird with these mid-game dwelling rounds, like, because that's the advantage of this is to be able to get a lot of dwellings out fast as halflings, and then usually what you can do to take advantage of that is to either advance digs for round 3 or round 4, and you have a lot of workers to dig with, or you have a TP round 3 and round 4, and you have a ton of dwellings down. You have all the workers coming in, and you have tons of workers, and get a coins action or two, and find ways to build a lot of TPs in these rounds with water 1, and you can score a ton of points that way. And so like those are the kind of setups where I would like going double east, and I think that could be very strong. Like here, the track is really weird for it. Like it doesn't quite work. But it's still like just getting good economy in general. Um, you probably don't connect, and I guess the issue is you're kind of tight on space in the late game. Like, where do you go after that? I don't know. But like, otherwise, you're on E6, and I guess you try to ship up to B3 and try to get this territory in the north. Like, try to beat nomads here and beat giants here. It's just like, it's scary. But I think regardless, like halflings are always fine. They can always score points. They have cheap dig advances. So they always get 12 points from dig advances, and they get I don't know anywhere from eight or more faction points with digging. I find with halflings, you can hit bonuses. I guess the big building tile isn't great for them. TP tile, if you're double east, the TP tile is kind of nice. Um, Ship TP can be really good for halflings. Like it doesn't really make a lot of sense in the surface, but I find like you just I don't know. Brown is good for shipping, so if you're starting in the normal spots like on E6, you probably want to ship at some point, and so that's pretty useful. Yeah, I'm sure halflings can score points. They can do well on cults here, I'm sure. So it's not bad. Dwarves. So dwarves have the double earth rewards in. Dwarves start F6, E7. They don't love giants in the game. Like for sure, that's annoying for dwarves. There's no green in the game, so dwarves get E9. Dwarves would get F4 unless nomads open stronghold and cut through F4. And if nomads do open stronghold, they definitely want F4. But that is a couple of actions, and dwarves probably have time to take F4. They're also in first seat, so they'll get leech for a single dig or something if they want it. Then it's a bit scary leaving E9 exposed because giants can stomp E9, but giants probably want to stomp D5, especially if nomads have their stronghold up. I guess nomads could stronghold and sandstorm D5, but then giants just take C3. That makes no sense. So dwarves always have like hexes they can tunnel to, like dwarves, whatever. They have these grays in the east and the south they can tunnel to for points. Um, I think G3 is pretty safe. That's kind of the nice thing here for dwarves. Although if giants are on G2, then it's a bit of a fight for G3. But it's not clear to me if giants will be on G2. Like I might do it. I don't know if the other players would do it. They might just go like D7 is definitely safer for giants, so I could see that as well. But I don't think dwarves are getting G2 here. Like that seems very unlikely with nomads and giants in the game. Like if giants don't start on G2, nomads have to want G2 to connect. And so I don't think dwarves get G2, and so they don't get G1, and they don't get this nice territory then. They also don't get D4, so they don't get C2. C3 is not an easy hex for them to get, and giants probably take that anyways. I could definitely see dwarves getting squeezed here. Like it's a little bit scary for them with giants in the game. Huh. At the same time, I feel like dwarves are the best to hit these mid-game dwelling grounds. Like they have such easy tunnelable hexes, and they're not gonna open like Temple 7 dwellings after round 2 or something like that. Like I don't see that kind of thing happening. They might have like Temple 5 dwellings or 2 temples, 3 dwellings. I don't know, but they're gonna have dwellings to build here, and they just want to keep building dwellings. Like I think this is the most natural. Like I think the track is the most natural for dwarves. Like you have these two really good early Earth cult rewards, which helps a lot. You obviously you take Earth too, so you can hit them really comfortably without like even if you don't get a priest, like you still hit them well. You do dwellings round 3 and 4, and the late game low scoring track events are totally fine for dwarves. Like they might end up going stronghold round 5 and dig bombing or something like that. So that I think the track is really nice for them. The bonuses like aren't great. There's 2 shipping bonuses in the game. There's no dwelling VP. There's no spade. Like that's really sad for dwarves, I think. So I don't love the bonuses, but I do like the track for dwarves. It's just the color matchup. It's just like this is going to be a dogfight. This game is going to be a battle, and I could see dwarves being hurt by that battle for sure. They're a bit more vulnerable than other factions, and if they're not getting good expansion space, it's a bit dicier. Do they have a town in the center? Like if they can get F4 and G3 and get a bridge sanctuary town, And then they have like F6, E9. I guess they double dig G6 and H8. Although even then, like what if Halflings beat them to G6? That's not a town there then. And I guess they have a southern town here, but like, it can get ugly. Huh. And I mean, dwarves will do pretty well on cults here. Like they're gonna have priests producing descend to cults. Like the mid game cult rewards suck. They're not. They love these early earth rewards, but like priest to cults here don't really do much of anything for them. Round five workers, that's nice. That's a good cult reward, but like this is not good. And they're not gonna have tempo on cults. Like with nomads getting the first priest, presumably to earth. Like that's really good for nomads to try to play cult here as well. Like so that is kind of annoying for dwarves. Halflings might go shipping over cults, maybe. Giants don't do much on cults. I guess cults are pretty open, but yeah, I guess it's okay for dwarves. How is network going here? Like, who's winning network? I think nomads win network, right? Like, nomads have to find a way to connect. The only way they don't connect is like if giants are double center, and then dwarves take F4, and then nomads need like, if they're on F3 and E8, they need what, like three ship down to I7. Or they just take E5, I guess. Maybe they take go stronghold and sandstorm through here. Maybe that's fine. Then they connect to the north somehow. They probably connect. So, like I feel like Nomad's getting cut off is unlikely. Um, hmm. It's not impossible, but I think it's unlikely. Yeah, okay. Maybe I'm a bit high on dwarves here, but dwarves' inherent scoring is nice here, and so is halflings. Okay, I feel like nomads are better than giants. That's my thought here, is that nomads could do more here than giants. Giants do like the round three dwelling round. I think they can hit that better than nomads if they plan for it. Like maybe Giants just go D4, D7, obviously open stronghold, take D5, get these dwellings across here, go Temple Earth 1 round 2, and then round 3, just like get A6, A9, A12 and a couple stomps and get a lot of natural reds there. But then what? Then they're kind of slow after that, so it's not clear. I guess they do like a points greedier game, and that's okay. But huh. But nomads I feel like can do something similar and do better on cults. It's just they're not as good at hitting these mid-game dwelling rounds unless you're like with Stronghold at least. You could go more temple and more shipping and you could plan for it better, but like when they're sandwiched, the shipping game is harder because your hexes might not be sitting, so I don't know. I don't know, I feel like nomads are a bit better than giants. Let's have nomads down to like six here. I think halflings are better than dwarves. I feel like halflings are a bit better than dwarves. I think everyone needs to be a bit lower than giants still here. Um, how does that feel? Saying halflings are best, dwarves second best, then nomads and giants. I worry a bit that I'm undervaluing this priest to earth as nomads. Like I just remember a game that I played where like I think like Petter Svoboda was sandwich nomads and crushed it, like with giants in the game as well and halflings in the game. That had a green in the game, that had Orin in the game as instead of dwarves, which is probably better for nomads. But like I remember he started with a priest and got an early priest and I think he opened stronghold with the priest, and I think he did really well. But I think it was also a better stronghold track than this. Um, huh. Gosh, the bonuses are so sad for dwarves. No spade and no dwelling VP. I feel like that really hurts. The shipping bonuses are so much better for the other factions. But the earth rewards are just good for dwarves and like they can just score well. They're in first seat too. They get the most leech here probably. Both gray and brown are really good for. Everyone's getting a lot of leech here, but I think gray and brown being in first and second seats are really good for leech. Um, Yeah, do halflings connect? I guess that's a good question. If halflings can connect and fight network and do a lot while doing that, like that seems really strong for them. It's just I don't know if they connect. Like you're not opening stronghold or anything crazy like that to connect. That's not worth it. I think they probably don't connect. I think it's very hard for halflings to find a connection path here that won't be taken by somebody. And so like Halfling's not doing anything on network is pretty sad. But they just score a lot of in-game points. I don't know. Let's stick with this for now. I might revisit again. Um, yeah. All right. Sure. Good enough. Oh man, that took like 2 hours almost. Oh my gosh. I didn't think it was gonna take that long, but that's the nature of these high-level turn-based games. Like you got to think about these things so deeply to have a shot at winning these games. Like again, facing four really strong players. Um, yeah, it takes a lot of brain power for sure, especially in the auction phase. Like once the auctions are over, it's much more comfortable. Like unless you have to have a bunch of hard decisions at once, like that happens sometimes where you just have a bunch of difficult decisions that kind of pile up. But a lot of the time, I kind of know what I'm doing once dwellings are placed and once we have bonuses, stuff like that. It's a lot clearer. But man, the auctions, trying to evaluate four auctions at once is definitely difficult. Um, there's a very good chance I made mistakes in these auctions. Like you have to kind of accept that I probably didn't see something or misevaluated something in an auction. There's also probably a good chance that I saw some I did something right in one of the auctions. I did it well and have a good deal, like in one at least one of the games. And so like I don't know. I kind of have to just accept like whatever happens in the auction. Like everyone's gonna see things a bit differently too. So try not to overthink it, but I also got to really think deeply. Okay, anyways, I think that's enough here. I'm going to stop the stream now. I need to get moving. But thanks everyone who came in and chatted. Appreciate the comments and also like I appreciate that we talked a bit about strategy, but nothing too deep strategy wise. Like I don't want too much advice for these games or anything like that. Like it is intended to be competitive, so I don't want help from chat so much. But I think you guys did a good job of just like commenting on stuff without things being too much like giving me tips, stuff like that. So so that's good. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining and I'll try to do another stream in a few days or so once these auctions are over. Maybe by the end of the week could be good timing. So I'll try to get one up then. Um, but yeah, hope to see you all here next time.